East Bay put on another show for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Jimmy Owens came home your winner, but he and Garrett Smith had an absolute duel in the first quarter of the race. Unfortunately, Garrett Smith would get up on the high side and he would fade after the high side kind of went away during that point of the race, and he would end up finishing in ninth. But after that, we had Garrett Alberson and Jonathan Davenport decided to put the heat on Jimmy Owens, trying to chase him down. And Jimmy Owens was doing a great job in traffic, and he was able to hold them off. There was one moment where it was like you thought Jimmy Owens might have made a huge mistake, but he was able to save it and shut the door with Garrett Alberson, who was trying to pounce on that bottom side, get underneath of him, was unable to do so. And then unfortunately, we had this almost like 4-car race for the win, heating up with 2 laps to go between Jimmy Owens, Jonathan Davenport, Garrett Alberson, and Ricky Thornton Jr. And something happened to Boom Briggs' car. He slowed down on the front straightaway. The leaders actually had to take some evasive action in order to avoid him. Caution came out, and they re-racked the field, and Jimmy Owens kind of took it home. Wasn't really challenged. Davenport tried to do a Hail Mary in turns 3 and 4, but he just didn't have enough for Jimmy Owens. So before we really get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. As you see on your screen, here is the top 10 for Thursday night's A main feature. Jimmy Owens took home the win. Jonathan Davenport second. Garrett Alberson in third. Ricky Thornton Jr. in fourth. Hudson O'Neal fifth. Brandon Sheppard sixth. Mike Marlar seventh. Another huge run for Mike Marlar. I think he came from 19th. So he was, I believe, your hard charger, unless Brandon Sheppard came in there. I'm not exactly sure right now where he started. Devin Moran was in 8th, Garrett Smith 9th, and Tim McCready came home in 10th. So that is your top 10 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. But let's get into this here. There was there was a bunch of cautions at the beginning of the race. They ran 2 laps, and then it all went sideways for Mark Whitener. You can see him here. He's in this white car at the bottom of your screen. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Just hits that hole there, over rotates, tries to keep it going, and then he's got the tires blown. So he's got a left rear tires blown. And I think he would do some other kind of damage to the car because he would be done for the rest of the evening. Maybe he decided he just didn't want to go to the rear of the field, and that would be the end of his night. They finally got going after that, and Garrett Smith and Jimmy Owens put on an absolute show. They dueled for about 10 laps, back and forth, like hundredths of a second at the flag stand. Let's just take a brief look at some of their racing right here. So obviously this is 35 laps to go. You can see Garrett was really riding that high side. Jimmy Owens was kind of running in a middle groove right there. And they were just really kind of going at it. And they did this for, like I said, 10 laps before Garrett Smith made a mistake and Jimmy Owens capitalized on it. So let's take a look at that right here. You can see Jimmy Owens kind of was already in front of Garrett Smith here, and Garrett Smith was trying to reel him back in, but he was unable to do it. They're coming down into turn 1 and 2 here with 27 laps to go. Again, 8 laps. They were going back and forth for at least 10 to 10 laps. It was great, absolutely fantastic racing. Just that like brief clip doesn't highlight just how great it was. It was a duel. So right there, he had to let off the gas there or he was going to hit Jimmy Owens. Really lost a lot of momentum there. And then the high side kind of came, or the high side kind of just went away. JD was able to get around him, as was Garrett Alberson. And then here is where Jimmy Owens almost gave the race away, but he did not. They're coming down into turns 3 and 4 here. You can see Garrett Alberson has gotten into second, got around Jonathan Davenport at this point in the race. Davenport is just off your screen in third, and Ricky Thornton Jr. is back there in fourth, trying to chase them down. But Jimmy Owens right here almost lost it. Let's take a look. Like he hits a divot there, and it really slowed him up. He had to get off the gas. Garrett Alberson drove it in hard. Let's just take a look at that here just to kind of show you exactly what happened here. You can see him right here diving into turn 3 and 4. He hits that divot right there and I guess he clearly lets off the gas because it looked like it was going to take the car. It was taking the car right into the the wall there in the corner, but he's able to quickly recover and shut the door on Garrett Alberson, who was trying to stuff it in there on the bottom there. What's interesting is I think they hit it had already been hit, so you can see right here on your screen. This is like their like restart cone, and someone hit it earlier in the race, and he made it all the way out onto the front stretch. So they were kind of playing. I forget what that video. There's a video game where you have the cars and you shoot it. They're basically playing that in real life in that video game there. So it's kind of fun. And then here's the last lap. Jonathan Davenport really tries to throw it in here on the last corner, but just doesn't have enough. And Jimmy Owens is able to hold him off on the bottom side. Let's take a look here. So Davenport really throwing it in there. Owens just sticks to his line and takes it home. JD wasn't really close there. I think he probably even lost some time there if he had just stayed down following him. He obviously wasn't going to win, but he probably would have had the margin of victory would have been a little bit less. But hey, you're in it to win it, right? So can't fault JD for making that move. So excellent race out at East Bay. We've seen two great races there. I still think the race from yesterday was way better. Watching Mike Marlar literally go from 7th to 2nd in 6 laps. I don't know. That's just so impressive. Absolutely awesome. Passing both JD and who else did he pass there? I was Dalton Wilson. He passed Dalton Wilson on that last lap to go from 4th to 2nd. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that when it comes to racing. And then seeing the duel with Turbo there as well in the beginning of the race was also really good. So I still think that is probably the best race for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, was that Wednesday night race for down there at East Bay. But this one is up there. This is definitely in the top 3, I would say, for the best races for the Lucas Oil. But let me know what you guys made of the race. Let me know in the comments below.